For any modern restaurant owner, the numbers tell a familiar and, frankly, a frustrating story. Delivery orders are up, which is great, but profits are constantly teetering on a knife's edge. So, what's really going on here? It's a paradox, isn't it? The very platforms that give you access to the market are also the ones that are slowly choking your margins. You feel like you can't afford to leave them, but it's getting harder and harder to afford staying on them. And the heart of this trap, well, it comes down to one single devastating number. That's right. A quarter, sometimes nearly a third, of your revenue from every single order is immediately taken by the delivery aggregator. This creates a relentless cycle of what you could call profitless prosperity. You're busy, but you're not getting ahead. That is the multi-million-dollar question for thousands of businesses right now. And the answer isn't just about trimming expenses here and there. It's about fundamentally rethinking the entire business model. So today, we're going to break down the numbers and see if we can find that escape route. To really understand the solution, we first have to dissect the problem. We're going to dive into the unit economics, that is, the profit and loss on a single average order for a traditional restaurant. Okay, let's start with our top line. An average order comes in at 1,800 Nepalese rupees. This is the full amount the customer pays. Now let's watch how quickly this number gets carved up. First thing out, the ingredients, your cost of goods sold, or COGS. For a typical restaurant, this is about a third of the order value. So right away, we subtract 600 rupees. And here comes the big one. The aggregator takes their 25% cut. And it's crucial to remember, they take that from the full 1,800 rupees, not from what's left over. So another 450 rupees is gone just like that. After we account for a few other small variable costs like packaging, we are left with 660 rupees. This is our contribution margin. It's the cash from this one order that's left to help pay for everything else. Now, a 36.7% margin might not sound terrible, but this is exactly where the model starts to break down. You see, that 660 rupees has a very big job. It has to help cover all the massive fixed costs of a traditional restaurant. We're talking about expensive rent for a prime location, salaries for all your front-of-house staff, utilities for a big dining space. You get the picture. Far too often, there's just not enough left over to turn a real profit. This is the squeeze. So, in response to this pressure, a new model has emerged, the cloud kitchen. You can think of it as a direct assault on those crippling fixed costs. Let's take a look at how its economics really stack up. The whole concept is just ruthless efficiency. No dining room, no waiters, and most importantly, no expensive retail storefront. The kitchen can operate from a low-rent industrial space, which immediately slashes one of the biggest expenses. For our example, let's look at a healthy food cloud kitchen, which might have slightly higher ingredient costs, maybe around 40%. So, we run the numbers again. It's the same 1,800 rupee order, but now with higher ingredient costs. After the aggregator takes its 450 rupee cut, the contribution margin is just 522 rupees. That's only 29%. And on the surface, this actually looks worse. And this reveals a really surprising twist. The cloud kitchen, which is supposed to be the savior of the industry, is actually making less money on every single order compared to the traditional restaurant. So how can this possibly be a better business model? And this is the strategic genius of the model. It was never about the per-order margin. It was always about the total fixed costs that the margin has to cover. By completely annihilating the costs of rent and front-of-house staff, the total monthly expenses just plummet. You need far fewer orders to break even and become profitable, which makes the whole operation much more resilient. But this is just step one of the strategy. See, a low-cost structure is a great advantage, but it's not a defensible moat. Anyone can go out and rent a cheap kitchen. The real, long-term play is to build something your competitors can't just copy, a direct relationship with your own customers. To do this requires a fundamental shift in your thinking. The smartest operators have stopped seeing that commission as some kind of parasitic fee. Instead, they reframe it as a marketing expense. It is the price you pay the aggregator to find you a new customer. And once you've paid to acquire them, you absolutely need a plan to keep them. So the strategy becomes a two-stage play. First, you use the big platforms to acquire new customers, but inside every single delivery bag, you include a call to action, a leaflet, a coupon, something that gives them a discount on their next order if they use your own website or your own app. The goal is to migrate them away from the high commission platform and over to your own high margin channel. And just look at the economics when you pull this off. That massive 450 rupee commission, it's gone. Yes, you have new costs for your own delivery logistics and payment processing, but the result is a contribution margin of 768 rupees. That's a huge 42.6% margin. This is the true economic engine of the modern food business. So let's put it all together now. This table really lays out the entire strategic journey. You start with a traditional restaurant getting squeezed by high fixed costs. You then pivot to the aggregator-dependent cloud kitchen, where you accept a lower margin per order in exchange for a radically lower cost base. But the final destination, the end game, is the D2C model, where you achieve the highest profitability by owning that direct customer relationship. And when you look at it visually like this, the result is crystal clear. The D2C cloud kitchen isn't just a small step up. It is in a completely different league of profitability. This is the strategic high ground in the food delivery wars. But of course, the game doesn't stop here. The market is constantly shifting, and the next phase of this competition is already starting to take shape. We're going to see smart operators launching multiple virtual brands, all from a single kitchen to maximize every square foot. The aggregators will fight back, offering their own kitchen-as-a-service platforms to keep restaurants locked into their ecosystem. But ultimately, the key differentiator won't be the food or even the marketing. It's going to be logistics, that grueling, complex puzzle of mastering last-mile delivery. So what's the key takeaway here? Well, it's that the appeal of lower rent from a cloud kitchen isn't the strategy itself. It's just the entry fee. It gets you into the game, but it absolutely does not guarantee you a win. The hard truth is that the real defensible moat in this business is built through the difficult, expensive work of creating a beloved brand that customers actively seek out, and then backing it up with a flawless technology and logistics machine to serve them. That, right there, is the future of food.